Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another edition of our author interviews from the Literary Book Club, which is now newly called TLB, the Digital City.
Hello.
And with me is author Pradeep Tandon. Pradeep ji, very warm welcome to you and good morning. Pradeep ji is an author of two novels. The first one is called The Real Thakur, which incidentally I have in my possession, and I have started reading it, but I could not finish it. Obviously, I got it only a few days back, and the latest one is The Curse of a Comet. So, welcoming Pradeep ji. First of all, let us start with you. Please tell us about yourself, who you are and how you started to write.
Yeah, very good morning, Dr. Anbar. I am Pradeep Tandon. I am Pradeep Tandon. Very good morning to you, Dr. Anbar. So I belong to Lucknow, and I am a retired person. So I have retired from bank actually in 2020, 4 years back. So my journey actually of writing that starts actually after my retirement only. So
that is great to hear that once you have given your whole life to your career, to the betterment of the country, to the betterment of the economy, and now you are giving into your passion of writing, your passion of words, your passion of literature. And here we get the outcome of your passion, and that is two novels. First of which was a romance, and the second is science fiction. So, Pradeep ji, please tell us, how did you decide to jump from such a romantic topic to suddenly to a science fiction? Pradeep ji, are you there?
a romantic suspense thriller.
I think we lost you for a moment. Please repeat what you just said. I mean, my question was, how did you decide to move from romance to science fiction?
Actually, the first book I wrote that is a romantic suspense thriller. So I really like to write like fiction novel. So I want to just act as a god actually for my character that I love doing. So it is not like anything like research based thing. When you write like fiction, then you have to think about a story, and then I really love like writing a fictional like a novel or story. So actually it is nothing like I didn't feel like any difficulty, because the first story I conceived, then I wrote about the love story. This because that idea that came during that time when I was when I just started just thought to just write my first book. So at that time that idea came. Then subsequently I just conceived of a story. So what will happen, like suppose I send somebody like in the galaxy. So little bit of research I have done. Actually, I brought some of the books and read about the galaxy and the celestial bodies, and just thought that wherever I had to mention about those galaxies and about the stars and also just I got some idea from that, so that I don't go wrong. And that was the idea I conceived about the science fiction.
This is indeed interesting, as author Sharad Kumar has just noted out in our YouTube chat. It is very interesting. So I would like to just read out a very interesting paragraph from your first book, The Real Thakur. And both these books are available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle editions. So just listen how Pradeep ji writes. They didn't realize. So the scene is There is Avinash, and there is the woman whose name
Sapna,
is
Sapna,
Sapna. Yeah, sorry.
Sapna.
So Sapna and Avinash are sitting in a jungle. They are stranded there for some reason, and they have lit a fire. So it is night time, and this scene actually reminded me of old Bollywood movies where there is a romantic setting. There is an immense danger of the jungle, the forest, the dangerous animals are there, but they didn't realize how the time went by. The fire, which was burning with great ferocity, had gone weak. Growling, howling, and sawing roar that was faint sometimes before had grown intense. A cold breeze, which was blowing across the forest, was making the branches and leaves rustle, snap, and sway. The swaying branches and leaves made images of different shapes and sizes on the moonlit ground. The breeze blew harder, the images animated and began to move back and forth. It felt as if an army of wild animals were marching menacingly towards them for revenge. Now, this sets up a very intense scene, and what happens next is the fire that was burning, it is slowly going down, and it was difficult to ascertain how many hours were left before the dawn to break. The difference between night and dawn was the difference between life and death. Looking at the provisions of wood stock, whether it would last till the last hour, Avinash had no answer. Envisaging to last long enough to walk in the zone of safety at this juncture was like trying to reach the end of your own shadow. Avinash started to use the residual stock most frugally. It resulted in the flame getting weaker in intensity and length. Predators further closed in on them. The figures of beasts were obscured in the night, and only their frightening roar was heard. Now their distinct figure with glowing fluorescent eyes and snarling teeth were visible. From the figures, the predators were a pair of leopards. It was confirmed from the sawing roar they were making. Trailing behind them were 4 hyenas, hysterically laughing. Some howling jackals were also in the sight, snarling, growling. Sounds of other animals were also heard. This actually brings a very intense scene of the forest in the night where there are innumerable dangers, and what I just read only gives a hint of the deep and engaging writing Pradeep has. So every viewer who is watching and who is enjoying this interview, please do go ahead and have a look at the 2 books that Pradeep ji has written. So I'll ask Pradeep ji, please give us an idea of what this story is about, the real Thakur. Please tell us what the story is about.
Regarding like hello, yeah, can you, there's some like connectivity issue. It is a love triangle. So Sapna, she belongs to Thakur family, and like father is a home minister in the kingdom of Jaipur, and he's a very powerful man, and he's a Thakur actually by caste. So like he has this sort of like thinking that his daughter, she will marry like only like in the family of Thakurs. That sort of misgiving and that sort of thought he has. He is not going to. She is not going to marry like in some other family or some in some low caste family. So that is there. So, but Sapna, fortunately, she falls in love with Avinash, and he doesn't belong to the Thakur caste. So, what happened? Like the love develops between them, and Sapna, she wants to marry. She wants to marry Avinash, and she is deeply in love with him. So then they have the altercation, some argument that goes actually, and then the argument turns very violent. And then what happened, then Sapna, she decides actually she is going to end her life. She will not marry Avinash. Then that happens actually, and then she jumps in the river. And from there actually, then Avinash is there. Fortunately, actually, he's there. He has come to his friend's house, and he's there. So he jumps. They, both of them, they are there, and then they happen to just reach an island actually there, island which is infested by
yes, the island is called Khuni Tapu. It gives complete old movie vibe.
Wild apple. That is there. And then then the wild animals. So then he has an idea, because that was told by Rituraj, his a childhood friend, and he tells that there is one Khuni Tapu, and so there wild animals are there. In case you want to save yourself, then you have to burn fire actually. So when they reach there, and then they both of them are there on the Khuni Tapu, and then they collect the wood stock. But that night is long, and that wood stock doesn't last long. So there is some there is also entry of Zorawar. He belongs to a Thakur family, and obviously Sapna's father wants to marry his daughter in a Thakur family. So Zorawar, he comes in picture, and then what happened
I think we are having some
she's in under no condition. So that'll yeah. So she's not going to marry Zorawar, and she's going to marry Avinash only. Then Zorawar, he feels very bad about it. Then he just thinks about it, what to do actually. So then he conceives of some plan actually to eliminate Avinash. So so it happens actually that way. So there is a lot of violence, and there also so lot of things happen actually. If I reveal everything, then obviously it will be a spoiler actually for my book. So don't want to reveal everything.
Of course, we don't want you to reveal the whole story, and people listening to this description, don't you feel like this is
because
an
I
old
think
era movie, when the villain used to be Amrish Puri. Amrish Puri is someone who will fit into this Thakur era, villain type, right? If this the real Thakur would have been made in maybe in 1980s Indian Bollywood, that would have been great. Thank you, sir, so much for this description. Now, I would, without any further delay, I would like to move on to your next project. Completely different genre, completely different thought process, completely different idea. And the name of the novel is The Curse of a Comet. Tell us about the new book, The Curse of the Comet.
The Curse of a Comet. So after writing this, I conceived of an idea actually. And then and that is more or less with the patriotic feeling I had. So suppose I want to make like India a superpower, so maybe I want to put India in a dominating position. How can I do that? So I conceived of an idea. Suppose India just gets like something actually. Like in my story, I have just thought how can I like India going to like comet is going to come like in on the horizon, and that comet is like very much very rich in one mineral. Suppose that mineral is retrieved, and if it is sold like in the market, so like Indian scientists, they become like successful and retrieve that super rich mineral, and they bring it here like in India. So if they sell like in the markets, it is going to fetch them a lot of money. So like America and one or two other countries, they are so India GDP wise is in the 5th position. So with all that money, suppose India sells and accumulates more money than the other people, other countries which are ahead of it, actually, like in the terms of GDP. So like India will become the super rich country in the world, and plus that mineral which is retrieved, actually, suppose that is very like lethal as far as like can annihilate like any country within seconds. So that way, if India can possess that weapon, so it will have like pretty pivotal position. Maybe weaponry wise, it would be like a number one position. It will acquire number one position. So like this it is. So I conceived actually my idea around this idea, and this is how actually I made my story. And there are like many characters in that, and it all shows how they have done everything, and then how they have been able to just retrieve that mineral. So my story idea is conceived around this this idea.
So this shows how much of a depth or how much of the research has been put into making of this story, The Curse of a Comet, and something in sci-fi we would not even imagine thinking about GDP and actually thinking about India as a world superpower. But it is incredible that Pradeep ji has made his story based around reality and how we want, how our patriotism, how our love for our country is reflected in this story. Moving on, so we talked about the real Thakur, then we talked about the curse of a comet, and the next question obviously is, sir, is there anything else in the line? I mean, what is your next project going to be?
No, yeah, next project I am working on currently is uh, like so many experiences I have actually of life. In which I'll have my experiences like in life. So working that idea, that idea only, just like R.K. Narayan's book Malgudi Days, because I want to just make my short story like novel made into like 20-25 short stories. They are like the ideas which I have conceived, my experiences. So it would be just a mixed bag of everything, but definitely it would be the collection of short stories of my experiences, and then many of the other fiction which I have written. So that is my idea. I'm currently working on it. Maybe by the end of March, I'll be able to just have like in the public domain my third book actually, on which currently I am working.
So the third book is also coming, and it is very interesting to see that even after retirement, Pradeep ji is so active, and he is just churning book after book after book and story after story after story. And I hear you are a poet also. Have you written some poetry also?
Yeah, I have written so far. I just started my this poetic journey, writing poems actually, because it all started when I wrote this the real Thakur. So there, it has like two of my poems there in this book. That time I just thought about it because I was sitting in the garden, and then there was one like small sunbird. Falling on it, then it was turning. It was just right up so that I can portray many of the my thoughts also, and plus the story idea. Actually, I can just put that so that it after a poem, and which is there like in my this book. And then when I was writing my cuts of a comet, that novel, so they are like another two poems to write like in words. Suppose you like lines and sentences like in the book. If you just make a poem and weave a poem like in your story, then that portrays like idea, and it gets like integrated in your storyline, and it reflects actually like the dynamics of relationship. So that was the I would to say the thing I just yeah.
Well, unfortunately, we were having some issues with the internet, and your voice is cracking up. No worries. So, we were talking about the poetry written by Pradeep ji, and in this blurb of his first book, let beheading act be so quick, the truth prevailing must not die. Lord, pardon thee for the sinful act, and pardon thee for the sinful act. So we are very excited to see Pradeep ji moving further into the land of poetry, as well as continue giving us novels and incredible stories with passion and fervor. Moving on, I have a new question for you. Okay, let me take a few questions from the chat. We have our chat. People in the chat are saying, yes, of course, there are some issues with the audio. I am aware. Let me see what we can do about that. But anyway, so any non-English writer you were influenced by, Pradeep ji? This is a question from Subhash. And who was your influence for writing? And is there any non-English or Hindi writer you were actually influenced by?
Can you just repeat the question? I've not heard it. There
The
was some
question is,
connectivity issue.
who
I
was your
don't.
influence in your writing, and was there a non-English writer you were influenced by?
No, actually, like reading some English novels. So I have not read like many Hindi novels except for this short stories like Premchand and all. But I have been like quite an avid reader of English books. So Gone with the Wind. So most of the classics actually really like enthralls me. So I have Pride and Prejudice, Pride and Prejudice, Gone with the Wind, and then many of the self-help book, and like Agatha Christie. So all those, whatever. Then Charles Dickens also, the Christmas Carol, and then many of Charles Dickens books, and all those books really enthralls me, and that catches my attention. Like this it is, and like my stories are based actually on my experiences only, like little bit of thought actually how they write I might have captured like in my book, because that is to do with imagery, and then many times you have to show, and many times you have to tell. So all decision you have to make when you are writing, which is just going to enthrall your audience. So there is like nothing like specific about it. I conceive an idea, and then it comes to my mind. I just write that. Really influenced me. So maybe a sum total of everything, little bit of everything that may have gone like in my story. So you will have to tell, because my readers, I think they are in better position to tell me, because so mine would be like subjective. Like reader may hold some objective view and may have their things see in their perspective. So in case they give some feedback actually what my story is about, yeah. So but just I think about the story only, nothing like where I have to just see. It's all it has become like inbuilt in my story writing. So that is it.
No, you are absolutely right, and I completely feel what you mean by, the readers are the greatest inspiration and the greatest influence to a proper published author. Once you publish your work, then your readers give you constant inspiration, constant feedback, and they tell you what is good, what is not good, everything. So your readers being your inspiration, that is absolutely nice. And also, okay, next question. Uh, you self-published your book. This is a very important question. So you came out of a fulfilling job. You ended your career with retirement, and started thinking that yes, I have been enthusiast whole of my life, and now I want to write. You wrote your book, you wrote your story, and you went ahead with self-publishing. Tell us about your experiences with self-publishing. How it was.
No, actually, like what I personally feel, as I had like great enthusiasm after retirement. I thought I'll devote my time to story writing, and also you put in all efforts and then you complete your story. And then just extract like more money from you. So and then obviously not paying like a lot of attention also to your work. And I just failed to understand actually like one thing. What will happen like what will happen like so many of the errors they creep in into your story. If publishers like when I wrote my first book, I thought like publisher will do like everything, will do like proofreading. I have written my story, so maybe in the proofreading, suppose they come across like something, they'll bring to my notice. So I thought that they are just going to take do everything, because this is what just before deciding the package, they told us and they promised also. But subsequently, when you see some of the mistakes like creeping in, then really that becomes a problem. And then I fail to understand, like if a book is going to sell, then obviously it is going to just benefit the publisher also, plus it will give like some royalty to me also. So not like I had like not a good experience with the Notion publishing house. First of all, they made like in copywriting, they when I so whether that copyright that has been done in my favor or it has not been so far done, so it has been over like 2 years. They are just silent on that aspect. And plus the ink feather house, actually when I just wrote my story, they are also the same thing. Actually they want to extract money from you. They are not bothered whatever you were writing, they are just going to print that, no matter how many mistakes your like story contains. So they are least bothered about that. And then subsequently I came to know they do copywriting also. So far they have not done. And when you ask them, they say they are not doing. In case you want, so just pay some extra money for that. So like this, it becomes difficult actually for the retired person like me. So from here to get all that money, where like all publishers on all, they are held bent upon just exploiting you, extracting you more and more money on the plea, on some plea or the other. So they have not updated even the dashboard actually after 2 months. So just it shows the sale of just one book, and that too actually that is the quality, because two of my books they got like sold in Italy, in Europe, but it is showing just one book. And then after that, it has been my book was launched on 16 July, and it is 6th October perhaps today. And so far the dashboard has not been updated. So don't know the people also then advertising, actually marketing for my book in my own way. So how far that is going to that is affecting my sales. So in Feather House they have not even updated actually, in spite of just promising they would do it. Like they promise every time and they don't do it. So like this it is. So it is very difficult actually to
Yeah, I
who
completely
can really
understand your
help.
frustration. Yeah, being a self-published author myself, and I understand that the thing is that the publishing houses don't tell you the real truth. They don't profit by the sale of your books. They have already profited while you published with them. Say there is a fixed cost of the book printing that they charge you, right? If your book's MRP is like 250 rupees, they are going to say that this is the minimum printing cost, and that printing cost is inclusive of everything, their own salaries, their own profits, and everything. The royalty that give you is only like a bonus for them. So that is the sad reality of in on demand printing or self publishing in India at this moment. It may change later, but at this moment it is good, and that is why people still think that traditional publishing is the most uh, best the way to go, but it is not easy at all.
No, but difficult part is that you write a story, you write a good story. How that will come in the domain, and how the people will become like aware of that. So like again, then it is all, it boils down to marketing. So if you market your book, so if you have money, actually you spend lot of you'll be able to just market your book will not sell. So this is I can write a story, but what to do actually after that? So it doesn't grab the eyeballs, actually like the attention of my readers. So that is a difficult part actually for a budding author. So what to do? They must have like lot of money with them, so that they may spend. It is just like advertisement. So even your product is not good, but if you do like marketing, so it is going to sell like hotcakes, and it is going to catch everybody's attention, and your work will not come in like public glare, no matter how good, how well your product may be. So it is like this. So it is very difficult actually to keep the same enthusiasm in your next book now, because you are very much uncertain. So what will happen? So That is the most difficult part. So yeah, because you put in like so much efforts, so it has taken almost like more than 1 year to just write the second book, The Cuts of a Comet, actually. And then just before this final printing, I have read my book to just make it like error free at least 10 times, just gone from first page to the last actually 10 times. I have put in so much effort. So after that, these publishers and all, they are not like updating dashboard. So they are
Again, we have a problem.
not a
So
problem actually.
yeah, thank you. Let us go through some of the comments again. One question from Ankita is: how do you develop your ideas, and do you have a consistent writing process or routine?
Huh? Yeah,
How
I
do you
think.
develop your ideas, and do you have a consistent writing process or routine?
No, actually, I want to. I want to just have just because I've heard there has been some definite time, and but thing is that like yeah, I just keep myself just engrossed during afternoon and all whenever I get time actually. So my time goes like in writing only. Then I want to become a good orator also. On that aspect also I am working, because I see that my this because marketing is very important. I have to just pay attention there also. But I can just because in one draft actually like the story is not polished. It is not the, it doesn't give the like clear picture. The first draft is just like it is the most ordinary thing actually. So you have to work on and on, polish it time and again, and you have to keep polishing till you are satisfied actually. Now this is the final thing. It is ultimately your satisfaction. So I give lot of time actually. I don't do like anything else because I am so much engrossed in that. So even for a small one for social also that way, because this writing actually there is not, like nothing definite. I keep on maybe sometimes suppose I'm engaged, so like time flies like anything, maybe 4 5 hours 6 hours at a stretch actually. So like this also it happens because when you are engrossed in just honing and working on certain idea on certain paragraph or certain like dialogues or some sentences or some some aspects of your novel. So that really takes a lot of time. So I give whenever I get time. So there is no specific time as far as I am concerned. So I just keep on working actually.
So thank you for this detailed description. So I think Ankita, you got your answer. There is no specific timeline, or there's no specific routine, but it is a process. It is a continuous process, and whenever you get time, you just go on and sit and write and write and write and write. And of course, as Pradeep said, the first draft is like the roughest thing possible. It is not even a story sometimes. Sometimes, so first draft is like just a clump of clay, and you have to then polish it, and you have to then shape it, and you have to then cure it. Then it becomes a book. Moving on, Subhash has said that some of the passages are very detailed and help the reader to get a vivid visualization of the surroundings being narrated. That is very good. That is very good. Ankita's another question is: what have you learned from writing this book that you will carry into your future projects? So this is a question for you, sir. What have you learned from writing this book, the two books that you will carry into your future projects?
No, that gives me a lot of confidence actually. Like when I a lot of confidence, and when like my book was there, to their billing actually like reach that level. So like this it is when I write like two books. So like you are taking my interview, so it has not happened before. So that sort of actually like respect and all, when people they come to know you have like written two books, so you have become an author. And then when you are able to just write a good story and you complete the story, then obviously that gives you a lot of confidence that this is something actually, if I work on, I'm bound to improve. And like in maybe like in coming months or years, maybe so I can make my mark. So this is my niche area actually, and I should work on it and just make it like better and better as the time go by. Maybe some of my book may become like a bestseller, and yeah, I'll have my name, and people will recognize me. They'll give like a lot of respect. So ultimately, that is the feeling actually which you crave for. That a feeling that comes actually, that comes that make actually like you think you have some importance, you have some like some space like in the world, so people they recognize because of you some quality, and it is something like which is not a common thing actually. So that belongs to a certain class only. So I feel that I belong. I'm just. I have been. I am in that class, and maybe in the like in the coming months and years when I write more. So maybe I may cement my place there. So that is a great feeling actually. I get. Yeah, I get a lot of satisfaction actually. Yeah, a lot of. Yeah, I feel confidence also about it.
You have our respect and our best wishes. Yes, of course, we want someday you will become a real bestseller in your craft, and I'm completely with you. That this is every author's dream to become a real best-selling author, and more than that, more than just the tag of being a bestseller, it is the feeling of recognition that people recognize you for your work, for something that you have created out of yourself. That's something you have imagined and put into words and then published it in the form of a book, and that becomes recognizable. That your name remains in the back of your book forever. This is a feeling I completely recognize and resonate with you, and you have our best wishes for the future. Let us move forward. There are so many questions. Exactly. Future books. Okay, we discussed about future books earlier, and so let me ask one more question from my side. Now that you have published two books, is there anything that you think, knowing what you know today, after 2 years of working in this field, is there something you now think you should have done better, or you should have done differently in back in 2022 when you were working on your first novel? Knowing what you know right now after your experiences, is there something that you could have done differently at the time of writing your first novel?
Yeah, definitely. I feel that the second novel is better than the first one actually, because many times some of the chapters which I read that gives me like goosebumps. So when I exposed to the things actually writing, so I am like better equipped. I know what is this telling, a difference between telling and showing. So that sort of thing is there. And like when I have worked actually on my novel, then have been like also just sending some of the chapters actually to different people. Just to get a feedback actually from them. Yeah, it is a learning curve only. You become like better and better more you write and more you read. Like this is it is. And when you read actually you realize yourself actually, because many times I some of the chapters which I read that gives me like goosebumps. When I write even today, like no matter how many 10 times I have just read my the curse of your comet, but some of the part actually I still just read that gives me like goosebumps. When you get that feeling, actually, then you know that your readers would also be getting those goosebumps when they go through all those things, because emotions are emotions that everybody has. In case that can stir your emotions, then obviously it will also stir the emotions of your readers also. So it is it is a journey only. It is not a destination. So more you write, the better you become. The better you become. So with your experiences, with your writing, and with more and more practice point of time, and but I think like so whatever I have written, actually, like in the past book, the book enthralls me, actually. So it is not that, but you become better you become better and like this the journey will go on.
Yes, the journey will go on, and there is no stoppage. There is no end to the improvements. And you rightly said, you improve with everything you do. It's like a craft. It's an art. The more you practice, the better you get.
It is improve with every writing. It is a
Yes,
journey.
yes. So
Actually, I have written like short stories also. So one of the hello.
yes, yes. Tell us about your short stories.
Okay. Yeah, I have written like short story also. Many short stories I have written. Then some of them I sent to my bank also, because uh, I have actually I was in Canara Bank, so they have a magazine actually during my banking career. When just before retirement, I was not able to just get anything like published there. So after retirement, I just started working on my story. So it became better and better. Now, actually, whenever I send, then they publish it. And then, there is also like one of my story, short story, that was selected in Ruskin Bond's anthology. Uh, uh, it is among the top 20 among the top 20 stories written by like different authors. So my story also becomes a part of that anthology. Maybe like in this month or next month it will come. Uh, uh, so I the Rupa publication, that is quite a renowned publisher. They are publishing actually that anthology, and my stories also it forms a part of it, and many of my poems also wherever I send actually. So the people they appreciate, and it get like published also in some of the magazines. Some Many of my poems they have been like published.
Yes, Aman Ahmad says that is there any collection of short stories combined in a single book? I think that is what Pradeep ji was just talking about. There is an anthology, the Ruskin Bonds anthology coming in from Rupa publication, in which one of the short stories written by Pradeep Tandon ji will be published. But I think his question is even deeper. You are writing a lot. You have been writing a lot. Are you going to compile all of your short stories together in the form of a book?
Yeah. This is what I say. I mentioned actually, just like R.K. Narayan, that Malgudi days. I have read that book actually, and then it has like different like experiences he had actually when he was like the childhood experiences, and then like astrologers day. So many Martyrs corner. So like this, he has written like R.K. Narayan. So just on the same pattern, actually, I want to write. So many of my experiences are really very good. Just one like defying the destiny, in which I have just talked about actually how I have been able to overcome super and the person who just crafted my this horoscope. So he mentioned there this boy has a fear learn. So this I learned only I became like 50, when I became like 55 years old. So at that time I thought, yeah, what is this? Yeah, if I just learn in a swimming pool, which is like very, it doesn't have like content, which is not very deep. And suppose I learn, and then I can go like when I become like master, I can go in the deeper part of also of a swimming pool. And this is exactly what happened. I was able to do even scuba diving in Andaman Nicobar, which means like going very deep in water. And that was a revelation to me, because the world, like it was entirely a different world when you just go in Bay of Bengal, and then like deep into what is that world. So I was just, because of this superstition, I was not able to just take actually the enjoyment of swimming, which I could not do. I spent like 55 years of my life actually just keeping, because that got etched like in my memory. So I have this fear, and I was able to just overcome that. So that short story I have also mentioned my experience, and that was widely really very well appreciated, and that is like published also just recently in my the bank magazine. So that is also a very nice story, and it gives like a lot of like encouragement also. And also a way actually guidance also suppose you also have that stumbling block of this drowning of some superstition. So how you can just overcome that with just little bit of applying your logic actually over that. So then so yeah, so swimming I really enjoy, and that is also like just keeping me healthy also that way. So it is something so all these experiences you mentioned, so, and there is also like another story in which I lost a small amount of money, just I paid like extra to some customer. So it was just a 50 rupees actually. If you think, you can't just believe, yeah, people they gave away that money, but I have just done that because that happened almost like 55 years back. That happened when I joined the bank, and that time I just traveled through buses and tractors, and just ventured like in village, and then somehow because I just thought it took us once a tenure in cash. So I just never wanted some spot actually on my this thing on my tenure. So with that in mind, actually, I took a challenge, and then I just ventured and just spent whole day in retrieving that 50 money, and I was able to just do that, and that I have mentioned actually. So these sort of experiences I have converted like in stories, and people they have really appreciated, and they have liked it actually. That was something unique actually, and then they appreciated my story, and it was also published like in my bank magazine. So really I read, it gives me a lot of pleasure actually. So yeah.
Thank you for sharing your real life experiences and your anecdotes. And it is very interesting to see that you have made stories out of your real stories, your real experiences.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
this will resonate with one of the questions that Divyanshi has. Is there any character in your book that resonates with you more, either in your first book or in your second book? Is there any character that you yourself feel like it is a portrayal of your own life?
No, not exactly here, but definitely like in many of my short stories. So there are many characters, and one very good story which I have sent like in competition. It is just a 1200, 1500 words story. But there I have not actually. I have given character some other name, but that is like
We
my
lost you
story.
again.
That is my story. And then I insisted, like my father that I will have it bond for 7 years. So after that, my father was also like in a bank. Then he got a transfer actually, and then what happened? So I kept like everything, the cup, the vessel actually in which I used to serve my cat, then towel, then comb and everything. I just kept inside the truck actually, so that like I can carry my cat. And that was a wild cat actually, whom I made my pet. And when I was about to leave actually, so that cat actually climbed a tree and did not come actually like with me. And I was really like just I just cried actually, because I had deep connection with that cat. But somebody told me the truck driver, he was realize actually the true nature of cat. I love my cat so much, but I was not able to just bring her actually to my new place, and I had to just leave her there. So that is a very deep bonding. And then I really cried like for uh, many days actually after, because I lost my cat. And cat didn't just think it that way. I think that was her nature actually. She was working on her nature, and I didn't realize that. Then when I just people, that really gives some a lot of emotions. Because thing is that like when you write on some facts actually, which has really your experience, then you are very much close to the reality. So even if you are writing like some fiction or some story, if that is based, it has like some parts of it based on some factual thing which has really transpired, like in your journey, in your life journey. If you write on that now, so you will be very close to the reality, that is going to resonate actually with the readers more. This is my experience. Yeah, yeah, people, they like my story more, which is more close to reality, which is based on my life experience. That is why I want to write, like, because I have many such instances. I have been a very naughty boy, or rather I have been like very adventurous also, done like many mischief, made kite flying, playing gully danda, marble, and so many things actually. So I have so many experiences. And if I just tell the writers, because now current generation, they don't actually like involve themselves in playing all those small, they are busy actually with I mean to social media and also. But we never had that. We have seen like life very very life very from the very close quarters. So we have all those experiences and all. And like even the new generation, when they read actually, so they resonate well with that, and then they appreciate that also. So yeah, many times, like one story I have written, that will also form part of my the upcoming book actually. So there is like regarding one dove which laid like eggs in my this thing just above the shoe rack. So I was and my family, entire family, was taking care. Then one day cat, it jumped, and then when like out of those eggs, two chicks, they came out. And somehow that and cat took away one chick. And then what happened actually, we were so desperate actually to save the life of the other chick. We never wanted that cat to eat the other chick as well. So we had like a small strong bonding. And then what happened actually, we kept a vigil. And this whole experience actually I have mentioned like in my one short story. And there in that short story, and then this is how we were able to save the life of the second chick. And then as it from the fledgling state, then is when it learned to fly, and then it flew away from there. So that experience also I have just mentioned. So more close you are to the reality, I think your story really comes up well now, because more it is, the picture is very vivid in your memory. It is like very you imagery also works very well now, because it has really some definite contours of the story writing, and you can be very close to the reality, and that makes actually resonate actually with your readers, that readers. So
Yes,
that
that
gives
is a feeling of authenticity, as
or
Pradeep points out
authenticity. Yeah,
in our
that
chat, that
authenticity. Yeah.
real experiences are
Authenticity,
more authentic, and
authentic.
it is very sweet to hear your love for not only your cats, your pigeons and doves that laid eggs
Yeah,
in your apartment, and it is
yeah,
a very different experience. And now
yeah,
we learn a new thing about you. The author Pradeep
yeah.
Tandon is also an avid animal lover. That is
Yeah, I
great
have
to know.
written. Yeah, I have also written like on my pug, which was there actually for almost like 12 years with us. And then I created my poem because I was very close to the reality. And really,
I think in this
so many,
condition,
my
I think in this
most of them are
condition,
like
Yumi has said a very sweet thing. Just give me one moment. Where is he? Has Yumi says he has so many interesting stories. I can listen to him even with
hello.
network problems. So this is completely the summarization of our situation right now. I mean, we want to listen to your stories and your narrations on and on and on, but somehow we are having so much
It has happened.
network problems.
Hello. Yes. Dr.
Okay.
Anubhav, can you just repeat?
I said
Doctor,
that one of our viewers, Yumi, she has written that he has about you. He has so many experience, interesting stories, and I can listen to him even with the network problems. That is the actual summarization of our condition right now. We want to keep listening to your stories, your experiences, your narrations on and on and on. But somehow there are network issues where what you say, some words are missing. Sometimes it is a static. Anyway, like there are times when the author face okay, there is a question. Was there a moment where you felt like you lost your motivation to write, like when there are times when the author faces they can't seem to find anything to write about? Did you feel like it somewhere while writing your book, like a kind of author's block, writer's block?
no, 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 no. Actually, no. That concept actually, I have always been like, have failed to understand actually this writer's block. So it is. So it never actually like occurred with me. So always I have a lot of stories, and I just write actually like many of the ideas they come to me, and then I write in in my copy. So I work on many of them, on those ideas. Actually, then many times I have even like woken up at about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, when I was more into this writing, and also I had like my pen and paper just by my side, or because like if you just switch on the light, so like your family also get disturbed. So I just take the help of like my mobile phone also, and then just write in my copy actually like certain ideas which I felt like I can just convert it into some stories. And then it has happened like I have slept, then again after 15-20 minutes another idea that it struck me. I thought it is a wonderful idea. It is just I lost my sleep for a while, then I again took pen and pencil, or paper and pen, and then I wrote those ideas actually. Uh, but this writer blog, the blog actually I don't really in consonance actually with the idea. So it has never happened actually with me. And the thing which you have asked, there is nothing like I can't actually like live without it, because sooner or later, maybe for the temporary, maybe because of some incident or something that has happened actually. So you may get a bit distracted, but again like you become normal, you come back to this story writing. So it has become like in my blood. So almost like 60 years, up to the age of 60 years just I have not done that. Maybe like a little bit of that I have done like in the past, but not so much passion as I worked on actually. So really, it has just overwhelmed me now completely. So so it is now I don't get like uh, demotivated with anything, and it always like I want to write. Actually, I want to write all the time, no
So
matter
the
what.
budding authors in our viewership, whoever is listening and watching this interview, just take the notes from author Pradeep Tandon, and yes, sleep with a notepad and pen beside your pillow, so that even if you find an inspiration in a dream or in the middle of the night, you just wake up and write it. So in that way, you will never face
Yeah,
the writer's
because
block.
yeah, because you really actually during your sleep sometimes, and sometimes like when during the daytime also they come. So you see like certain things, and then you just think about it and you do a bit of a deep thinking. Then you say, yeah, this is a good thing actually. You must address this problem, or this it could be like made into a story. So like this you must write actually, because that very soon you don't remember all those things. Don't have like anything. I just on my notepad on my WhatsApp actually I write actually a little bit of that, so that with that small inkling I can get back. I can retrieve happens actually. Yeah, happens actually. So, yeah. Hello.
Okay,
I don't know
so
why it has never happened like
no, no, it's all right. It's all right. We cannot control everything in our lives, and so network issue, network control is like something which we can
I
never
mean this.
control. But anyway, this
Actually,
has been a
one
very, yeah. Tell me, please.
no one thing like Ruskin Bond's anthology. My story was selected actually for the first time, because just prior to that I never had like any sort of like credibility as a author. Neither had that much of confidence now, because I was
Yes, I can understand that.
that
Having
get
your
selected,
short
then
stories selected in a published, traditionally
obviously
published anthology, that is going to give you a lot of credibility and a lot of success actually. I'm aware you are actually trying to speak something, and I'm very eager to listen, but somehow your voice is lost in the network. So it has been a very
no.
insightful few minutes that we have spent with you, and thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for giving your time, and thank you so much for sharing your whole life story with us. Before we end this interview, I would like to ask Pradeep sir to just give one line of inspiration for all the budding authors that are with us in our TLB book club, that would like to learn to live like you, to write like you, and to become a successful person like you. Just one line of inspiration for
No,
our budding authors.
no. Actually, there is nothing like I have not been so, but still, I would say that you observe the things actually around you very minutely, because something may be having some story just behind it, and maybe you may work on that, and it could become like a super hit, or maybe it may resonate with the people, and really give you like credibility as an author. And you must write like every day, and you work on that on your story, and just try to just the five senses actually you must try to incorporate in your story. So that resonates actually with the readers actually more, because that gives like stirs emotions, and they give like a vivid picture they present. So you have to be quite observant, and then imagery you must work on, and then dialogues also. So they must also like convey, like particularly the dialogue tag. So whatever dialogue you have just written, like in the in your story, then after that dialogue tags that come, so that gives like emotions. So it has to be in consonance actually with the dialogue, because that is a very vital part, the dialogue tag. Because the dialogue tag gives the emotions to the sentence which to the sentence which just precedes it. So like this, you can make your dialogue writing like better, and then yeah. So this is all.
Thank you for your
And
tidbit advice, and we
right,
loved having you here. We
you
loved
can do
talking
that.
to you.
You can do like anything.
Yeah, thank you so much for your advice, and we loved talking to you. Hopefully, we'll meet again soon in another session of this author interview. Till then, a shout out to the Real Thakur, the first novel, the romance novel of Pradeep Tandon ji. Go ahead and check this book out on Kindle and Amazon in paperback, and also check out his next book, his newest book, The Curse of a Comet, which is a science fiction suspense novel. And with that, I would take your leave. You have been with the Versatile Doctor, and I am here in the TLB, the Digital City Book Club. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Pradeep ji. Have a
Thank
really
you.
have a great Sunday.
Thank you, Dr. Anbo. You have been really my inspiration. Because the way you have conducted, and then you have given so much time, and also to my readers, they have been there actually in spite of all the connectivity issues. So I'm really very thankful to them. I feel like myself like very motivated, because they have been just asking questions. So it is just their questions actually, but they are giving lot of encouragement to me also, plus very elaborately, like you have just interviewed now. So the great anchoring you have done, because that gives me the feeling that I am wanted actually on this stage, or on this platform. So that is a great feeling I am just actually taking with me. So thank you so much, and to all my readers, and the people who are there on the chat, and plus Dr. Anpo, you have been really great encouragement, source of great encouragement to me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It has been my pleasure. Take care.
Okay. Bye bye. Have a nice day. Okay. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye. Bye. Yeah. Yeah.
So, Pradeep ji, we are off. We are offline. It was. Can you hear me?
Okay. We are offline now. So,
Yes, yes, we are offline.
I can very well hear you. I can hear.